Did you know October isn't the only spooky time of year in Salem? In German folklore, they call it Walpurgisnacht, or Hexennacht, the Night of the Witches. In Salem, it's called the Salem Horror Fest, and it takes place exactly halfway to Halloween. Legend has it, the night of April 30th was when the boundary between our world and whatever lies beyond was at its thinnest, when witches would fly to a mountain, party with the devil, and plot mischief for the year ahead, dancing into May, welcoming spring, and chasing away winter's lingering spirits. That same fear of witchcraft in Europe eventually flew across the ocean and landed right here in Salem, where the town would eventually become infamous for the witch trials. And now, 300 years later, the Salem Horror Fest surrounds the one night each year when witches are supposedly at their most powerful. So, how could there be any better time and place to look at our past, present, and future through the undying eyes of horror? Horror fans descend on this town to celebrate horror in all of its forms, showcasing films, filmmakers, writers, artists, and more. Join me as we look back at the 2025 Salem Horror Fest.
Buddy, I gotta record, so you gotta be quiet. He's making his. All right. Okay. Welcome back to Tales of Salem. I'm Michael, and it's been a while since you saw me. I've actually been sitting on some episodes that I've been trying to catch up on editing, but between the holidays getting busy and the New Year's actually been really busy too. It's been good. I'm actually scoring not one, but 2 feature-length horror films, earning my IMDb credit, or credits in this case. So that's been a dream come true. I was actually on set in Connecticut last weekend and the weekend before, so that's been amazing, but needless to say, it's been busy, very busy. But you know what's been an even longer time? Today's episode, which covers something that happened a year ago this week, and that's one of my favorite events in Salem. It's actually the first episode I filmed for Tales of Salem before the channel was even launched. We launched in October. I shot this a year ago this week. And that event is the Salem Horror Fest. I covered Salem Horror Fest 8 a year ago this week, before Tales of Salem had started, and what better time than now to post the episode as a retrospective of last year's event during the week leading into Salem Horror Fest 9, which is this weekend. So join me as we travel back in time a year ago this week to Salem Horror Fest 8.
The Salem Horror Fest began as it always begins, with opening night at the Peabody Essex Museum. So I made my way to the PEM, got my badge, and entered the theater. Have fun.
Yeah, I should wait for you.
Huh? No, just bigger.
Welcome back, everyone, to issue 8 of Salem Horror Fest. I'm Zero Gravity, scary movie sister and cousin to the Salem horror family. I am so excited to be back and to serve you all this weekend as the Master of Ceremonies for the third year in a row.
And we are living in a time when it seems like there are forces that are trying to divide us, and they're trying to divide us hostilely and harshly. But when we come together and we celebrate something, when we celebrate the stories that kind of give us a sense of meaning, when we're with the people who give us a sense of belonging, this is where we can grow this sense of community. And I hope this weekend, for all of you who have come, I hope that you find a sense of transcendence in the narratives that we're going to show you, and I hope you find a space of belonging.
It is my pleasure to introduce this powerhouse of a woman. She is incredible with a pen, a keyboard, or her own voice, which we are very blessed to listen to and maybe get schooled just a little bit tonight. Most of her recent praises come from the reformatory or whenever she breathes loud enough on Twitter for us to hear, which will absolutely followed with roaring applause. So please welcome our keynote speaker for this evening, Professor Tananarive Due.
Horror is the worst horror of all because it can be so largely invisible by those who benefit from that system and absolutely pitiless to those people who are captured and imprisoned by it. The real monster was always bureaucracy, and the real monster was always the horror within. Thank you very much.
Horror is a place for everyone. But I firmly believe that horror historically has been designed for the comfort of marginalized people specifically. When I say Hellraiser is queer, and it's like the end of the world in this Facebook group. You all understand what I'm saying? But so black history is black horror. And also vice versa is your quote, unearthing the true meaning of what horror especially means to us as marginalized people. So I would just like to know where you were when you thought of this quote, because of the general weight that it holds.
Wow, no one has ever asked me that. I think it was lecturing at UCLA. I teach black horror and Afrofuturism at UCLA. And I feel like, okay, everyone's in the And I feel like it kind of just popped out during a lecture, or maybe I wrote it during a lecture, and then when I was invited to be an executive producer on the documentary, as, by the way, a teacher, not as a writer. That was the funny part to me. I had been publishing since 1995. I had just started teaching at UCLA. But I was Professor Due because Jordan Peele had come to my class, and it's called The Sunken Place and all this, so that's why they invited me to do it, and I thought I gotta use that quote.
Do you have any advice for the people of the horror community who are marginalized in any way at all on how to protect themselves, to find the stories that are suited for us, maybe not get traumatized just a little bit more?
You know, that's a great question also, and it's a very individual journey for every artist. I had to fight every day to work on the reformatory. I hated being in 1950. Let's just start with that. I hated having to be in Robert's situation inside this terrible prison. I hated the research. Holy cow, there was a documentary where they actually showed my uncle's remains being officially buried, and my aunt was there, and they sent me the link. I didn't even open the link for 2 years. I didn't realize it. But when I got the link, I put it out of my mind, and then I didn't look at it for 2 years. So it's like memoir sometimes, and I don't know how many of you have tried to write memoir. That can be very difficult as well. You have to exercise the self-care, all that stuff, but I really do think it's the fantasy element that helps so much, so that you're talking about it, like I call it through the looking glass.
On opening night of Salem Horror Fest 8, I know a lot of y'all have been highly anticipating this moment, myself included, but a staple of opening night at Salem Horror Fest, we always have a pretty badass Q&A session led by Rue Morgue's Andrea Subissati. And joining Andrea on stage this evening will be none other than Ashley Laurence.
My name is Andrea Subissati. I came all the way down from Canada. I wouldn't come for just any festival. But I'm like a Cenobite, basically. You call me, I come. And And my special guest here needs no introduction because gravity just did it. Welcome, Ashley Laurence. Welcome. Oh, is this your first time in Salem? It is, yes. Wow. And what do you think? You love it?
Yeah.
Salem is like Mecca for spooky little girls who played with Ouija boards and light as a feather, stiff as a board at sleepovers. Were you a spooky girl?
I wasn't a spooky girl. I was a weird, stay by myself, draw to make friends girl.
That counts. That's pretty spooky. Another thing that I think is so singular about Hellraiser is, you know, it concerns these hetero-ish. No, they're hetero, but they're not normative. These relationships, and yet this film is so queer. It is so deeply queer, and it's just got, you know, it's got the BDSM, got the subculture nods to it. Did that feel really overt on set, that you were making something very transgressive? Because you make it sound like a cakewalk.
Well, it wasn't. I mean, the subject, just the intensity of what this character was going through, but I didn't put any sort of label on it like that. I didn't know. All I knew was this character was trying to get over there, and there were all of these things in front of it. And I was going to call him Doug. Pinhead.
He's called Doug.
He's Doug. He's not judgmental. There is really no good and evil. There's no judgment.
I think we're all so grateful to have you in the horror world and at Salem
Thank you.
Horror Fest this year.
Thank you so much.
The next day, Laurel and I made our way downtown. While walking around Salem, you're bound to run into a few interesting characters.
Hey, welcome to Salem and check out the Salem Horror Fest today only. This weekend, right? The whole damn weekend we got Salem Horror Fest going on. I'm halfway to Halloween. Yeah, check it out. It's showtime, baby.
Happy Horror Fest! Hello, TikTok. We see you.
You guys look great.
Thank
Oh my
you.
God, look at the
Are you
mic.
going to 80s prom tonight?
We love Linnea.
Oh, yeah, we love Linnea. She's awesome.
She's the best.
Fun fact, not only do these two undead Salem Horror Fest attendees run their own murder mystery company, but the one on the right, Ryan Choppy Travis, used to be a scare actor at the legendary haunt, Spooky World.
I will never, ever forget my first scare. Group came in, it was a woman, her husband, and a bunch of friends, all tightly grouped together. And I hit the chicken wire and screamed, and she turned around and punched her husband right in the face and knocked him out. That's when a haunter was born.
Oh, sorry.
Don't get run over
Where's-
by the trolley. That happened to me once. Shouldn't let that happen once.
They're trying to make more zombies. I'm about to join you guys in the afterlife here. Oh my God.
Check all your parts. Make sure you have them all.
Exactly.
All right, everybody say Christmas card.
Brandon the shapeshifter. Good to see you. Love it. What's this one called? Spectrum. Is this new?
Yes, it's a new one.
Looks awesome. I want to see it at night with the glowing.
I know, right? Turn off the lights, turn off the lights.
I actually can turn off the lights. This is what Spectrum looks like at night.
You know, Horror Fest is going on today. Is that why you're out today, or just a nice day? Well, I'll see you around. Hopefully I'll see you at night. Look, babe, there's Waldo.
Where's Waldo?
We found you.
All this walking around Salem reminds me there are 3 screening venues at the Salem Horror Fest: the Peabody Essex Museum on Essex Street, Salem Access Television on Derby Street, and Die With Your Boots On Church Street. But first, I would make my way to the haunted Hawthorne Hotel for the book panel.
I do use writing both as escape and hoping that some of the nutrients embedded in the stories will land somewhere and make a difference.
I tend to escape, and then suddenly I'll write a really obvious allegory where people one by one begin to fall for this hideous, monstrous, grotesque thing.
Your characters won't do what you want them to do, and you have to trust them, you know? So I would say rely on the practice, ignore the voices. That's my best advice.
I just write it through and get to the end, set it aside for a little bit, and then either go back and, because like ideally you go back and you're in a different mental place.
Having a bad draft is something that is always hard to accept. One thing that I do is, if you write in different genres, meaning like form genres, is if I find something's not working as a story, I'm like, okay, maybe this is supposed to be a poem.
I try to avoid dealing with my own emotions and issues when I write, and then they pop up. So I find my way into expressing things that are difficult.
I really use the writing to, kind of debrief from that and take a step back. The things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis.
My thing is sometimes to use music as a shortcut to get into flow, and always rereading what I wrote previously to help me jumpstart back into flow. And hopefully writing at least a sentence a day so that it never goes completely cold.
Thank you. That has been our book talk for today. So what's going to happen in a few moments, authors are going to go to their tables. Most of the books that you can purchase can be found at the table back there at Jesse at Copper Dog Books, who will be slinging books for us. However, some of the authors will have books at their tables that they are selling directly from their tables. Thank you for attending, and enjoy the rest of your Horror Fest.
1, 2, 3, scary! Amazing!
After the book panel, people got in line and waited to meet their favorite horror authors. I decided to pick up a few books from some of the authors. I was also hoping to get the opportunity to sit down with them for an interview. So I crossed my fingers and wished myself good luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Are you a writer?
So I was very
Aspiring.
Yeah. Are you writing? If you're writing, you're a writer.
Yeah.
All right, fine and check.
After waiting in line, my time came, and I asked Tananarive Due if she was willing to sit down with me for an interview. She said she only had a few minutes, but she was happy to talk.
Hi, I'm Tananarive Due. I'm an author, a screenwriter, and I teach Black horror and Afrofuturism at UCLA. I'm at the Salem Horror Fest as a keynote speaker, and I had a great time.
So I'm here with Professor Tananarive Due, author of The Reformatory and many other things, which, as you can see on the cover, NPR says one of the best novels of 2023, right? So Tananarive, how's your experience been this year at the Salem Horror Fest?
Oh, this is my first time in Salem, my first time at the Salem Horror Fest, and it's been great. I love being around horror people because there's just a general sweetness in the community that, you see it in some other writing communities, but it feels very sharp in the horror community. I think because we're all drawn to horror because we've been affected by the not nice things in the world, so we treat each other with a bit more kindness.
One thing I wanted to ask you about is horror has always been kind of counterculture, I think. It's always been kind of progressive just in its roots. And I think that the Salem Horror Fest seems to be way more progressive, the diversity of voices and storytelling. Do you think that helps distinguish Salem Horror Fest from a festival that simply celebrates horror? It's really about how horror and life meet?
Well, it's always great to see the diversity. I see it here at the Salem Horror Fest with the Girl That's Scary podcast I did last night and my keynote. And as someone who's been observing horror for many, many years, like since I began publishing in 1995, even an organization like the Horror Writers Association has gotten a lot more inclusive. Like the last time I went to their meeting, it looked very different than the first time. So it's definitely a trend that I enjoy seeing in the genre because there are so many great marginalized horror stories too.
If we're talking about cinema, horror was one of the first genres laid to film. George Méliès's House of the Devil, or that was considered the first horror film. That was in the 1800s. And the horror literature goes back to you'd know better than me.
Not necessarily, but yeah, it goes back a ways.
What do you think makes horror so endearing?
That is a good question. I asked myself that a lot after my mother passed away, since she was such a horror fan, and I was trying to figure out what drew her to it. I really think, for me anyway, it's that drumbeat of awareness of mortality and grappling with it, because once I figured it out at about the age of 8 or 9, sleeping next to my great-grandmother on her oxygen machine, I couldn't just flush it out of my head, which is, I think, what a lot of people do. So living mindfully of mortality actually enables me to feel more gratitude about the things that are going well in my life and to stay rooted in the moment and drive my tasks. But also it does draw me to sort of horror and those hidden corners in the world and those mysteries in the world. And
Yeah, I do think it's rooted in the mystery of how's it going to happen, when's it going to happen, and ghosts touch on that. Demons help us process human evil, frankly, because if you imagine someone was possessed by a demon, that's actually a better explanation for why they did what they did sometimes. The harder reality is more difficult to define than a demon. And I think it just harkens back to all of us kind of being wide-eyed kids, listening to stories around the campfire, you know, going back through history and just being enthralled by adventure and people facing things bigger than they are and learning how to vanquish them or learning how to die with courage.
Earlier at the panel, you were asked kind of what you like to consume outside of the horror genre. You had mentioned stand-up comedy. Stand-up. And I know that obviously you're friends at this point with Jordan Peele, right?
I wouldn't say friends, but he's come to my class. If he saw me on the street, he might say hi.
I bet he'd call you a friend. You know, he's obviously kind of changed the horror game. He's helped put black horror on the map to a lot of people who might not have seen how powerful it can be. The fact that he was a comedian is so fascinating to me because we're kind of seeing a new generation of like comedian filmmakers who are doing horror. Like it's Jordan Peele has been doing these incredibly, you know, dynamic, refreshing takes on the horror genre, and then Zach Cregger, I believe, is a comedian. He did Barbarian, and now his new film Weapons is coming out.
I didn't realize the guy who did Barbarian was in comedy.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, and they're horrifying films, and not only that, I think Quiet Place is also by somebody from who's known for The Office. He's a comedian
I didn't know
actor.
That either. That's great. Yeah. Well, you know, my husband Stephen Barnes and I had a chance back in the Skype days to Skype with Jordan Peele about that question of the relationship between comedy and horror, and I think one of the things that unites them is that you are creating storytelling that sets up expectations that you then subvert, right? So in a joke, you know, one of our favorite comics is Anthony Jeselnik. You know he's going to have a twist, and you know that's his whole thing, but you still can't see it coming. He's going to use your expectations against you, and that's the same thing that directors do in horror is, you know, you're not expecting something to appear over your shoulder or that jump scare or that character to react that way. So it's a similar carrier tone, but I think someone could write a whole paper on why people who love comedy also love horror. I don't know that I have all the answers, but I'm definitely one of those people.
Maybe somebody in the class can work on that.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
What is your favorite movie?
Come
what's
on
your
now.
favorite? I'm sure you've asked it plenty of times.
Favorite
horror film. Let's keep it in horror.
This is a super, super tough question, but I'm going to go back to Get Out, because even though there were movies I loved before Get Out, and there are movies I really love after Get Out, there was something that happened culturally. There was such a huge shift throughout, especially the film industry, that I have to give Jordan Peele props for tapping into that and creating so many opportunities, not just for black horror creators, but I think for all kinds of sort of horror creators who didn't fit into the square peg. It's like you're a little different, you're marginalized, you're telling it from a slightly different direction. A lot of people got opportunities in the wake of Get Out, and it's so rewatchable. I teach it in my class every year. So that's still my number one.
That's a good pick. That's definitely a great pick. And then novel, favorite horror novel.
That's a tough one. Wow, favorite horror novel? Oh my gosh. I think I'll go back to what my first favorite horror novel was. In terms of the scariest, Pet Sematary by Stephen King.
That's a horrifying novel.
Yeah, that one. You know, if you asked me on any given day, I'd give you a different answer, but today it's Pet Sematary.
You know, the book is better, obviously, than the movie. I love the movie. Like, growing up, I loved that movie, but the fact that there's no Wendigo mentioned in there, like, drives me crazy. Like, I love that. I felt like the movie was missing all that. But anyway, thank you for the answers. I could talk to you all day. There's so many questions I could ask you, but pleasure to meet you, and check out the Reformatory and all the other work. Thank you for coming to Salem Horror Fest.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much to Tananarive Due for the interview. This book is amazing. If you haven't heard of this book yet, The Reformatory, you should check it out if you love horror. Right on the front, one of those books you can't put down, the quote by Stephen King. You actually have to turn it sideways in order to read Stephen King's quote. It's set in the 1950s about a 12-year-old boy named Robert Stevens at the Dozier School for Boys, which if you've heard about that school, I saw a video years ago on YouTube, a documentary about it, and it was horrifying. One of the most horrifying stories I've ever heard. And at the end of that video, there was a call to action to reach out to the Florida government to try to affect change and make a difference and make those responsible pay for what they did. And while the actual real life story behind this book is horrifying, the writing of this is phenomenal. The storytelling is phenomenal. If you like ghost stories, if you like horror that is based in reality, and like we talked about throughout the video, reflects the horror within like a mirror, you got to check it out. So thank you to Tananarive Due, and yeah, check out the Reformatory.
After interviewing Tananarive Due, I made my way over to another talented author, Marisca Pichette.
Marisca Pichette, okay. Is that pronounced correct? I feel like a reporter now. I'm not used to being on camera. But like, I told her, I was like, if I'm going to do this channel, Tales of Salem, I think it needs to have people, characters in it who are like constant. So I'm forcing myself out of my shell. Okay. So I'm here with Marisca Pichette, author of a bunch of things, but this particular book or novella is Every Dark Cloud. Marisca, what brings you to the Salem Horror Fest this year?
I was invited by James LeBlanc for the book panel. We met at Aresia in January in Boston, and so I jumped at the chance. I've never been to the Salem Horror Fest before, so it was nice to be able to come up and see it in action and yeah, get to meet with other authors, which is always fun.
Beautiful, beautiful. How's your experience been overall at the festival this year?
It's been great. Everyone's been super friendly, and it's just a great current going through the festival, and I'm just happy to be here and happy to come to Salem because I don't come here that often. There's so much history, right?
So speaking of the history in Salem, I heard that you were working on a book that features Salem in the story. Could you tell us about the project you're working on?
Yeah, so the working title is As a Witch's Kiss. It is right now a rather short novel, and so I'm working with my agent to bulk it up a bit, add some more, particularly of sort of the flashback sequences, but the main plot driving the novel is two middle-aged witches being reunited sort of forcibly by a mystery 30 years after college that they have to solve. It involves ghosts, it involves magic, both witch magic as well as warlock magic. And it's drawing a lot on my experience going to college in Western Mass. So it's sort of set at a modified Mount Holyoke College where I went to school, and a lot of the present is got a lot to do with Salem in terms of sort of the history of witchcraft in the area. And there's a lot of Easter eggs where I'm drawing the names from the women who were accused and also subsequently killed during the witch trials. So there's sort of some things that people who are really like aficionados of Salem witch trial history would pick up on.
Sounds awesome. What do you think makes Salem a great place for horror and the Horror Film Fest?
Broadly, it's just what people associate with Salem because you hear about the witch trials. I'm not sure that there's much within the history itself that necessitates the associations with horror, but it's a lot of sort of broad cultural narrative and what we sort of like pick up on in like the pop culture related to Salem, and what a lot of people sort of in my generation grew up with, like Hocus Pocus and stuff like that, that you just associate these fun things with Salem and with Danvers.
What do you think makes horror such an endearing genre?
Horror doesn't shy away from the sort of darker side of human nature, as well as some systemic issues that we dealt with in the past and also continue to deal with today. It holds a mirror up in different ways to things that we need to address as humans and as a society, but also it's fun because you get to have this playground of spooky things and deviate from reality a little bit if you're doing sort of supernatural stuff. I mean, it's fun as someone who consumes that media, but also as a writer to really dive into those weird worlds and play with things and make it weird.
Real quick, what's your favorite horror book?
Honestly, I mean, I feel like it's a little bit of a cop-out, but I love Frankenstein. I love sort of that old genre, Frankenstein, Dracula, the epistolary modes that those novels are working in. And just reading them in sort of the modern age, you see what so much modern horror has drawn from those stories and from those modes of writing. And I think that's really fun. For something that's more modern, it's not a novel, short story collection, but Carmen Maria Machado's Her Body and Other Parties as something that's really crossing those literary and genre divides in horror and just doing some really awesome and terrifying things.
And what's your favorite horror movie?
Oh, I feel like I had a thought and it went away.
Doesn't need to be your absolute favorite. It could be one of your favorites, or which one have you watched the most?
It's a weird one to pick, but Rocky Horror Picture Show, you know, when you watch it for the first time, you're like, oh my God. It's fun and it's also dark in different ways. Also, I like a lot of sort of like treading, for movies in particular, sort of the lightness and the darkness together. Like another sort of like horror comedy one is Death Becomes Her. Like those types of movies are probably my favorite in like the horror genre.
Marisca, thank you for coming to Salem. Thanks for sharing your work and speaking to everybody. And hopefully we'll have you back in Salem for another Horror Fest sometime. And I look forward to seeing what you work on and can't wait to read this piece, Every Dark Cloud.
Well, thank you so much for this interview and for coming to the panel, and it's been great.
Absolutely. Have a good one. Thank you to Marisca Pichette for their interview in the episode. I actually read their novella, Every Dark Cloud, and I don't know if mushroom punk is the right genre to call it, but that's the closest thing I can think of. A refreshing take on the post-apocalyptic genre. Interesting characters, a really cool world filled with bioluminescence and mushrooms, and it's a dark world where people don't rely on sight as much as they used to in the old world. It's awesome. Short, quick and easy read, but check it out. They're also a Bram Stoker Award nominee, so check out their other work, give them a follow, and yeah, I dig it. I recommend it.
Later, we made our way to one of my favorite record stores, Residency Records. This weekend, it would serve as one of the vendor market locations. So, Laurel and I checked out the vendor booths and bought some pretty awesome things. I mean, seriously, check out some of this stuff. Look at it. Laurel ended up buying one of these little miniature displays in a glass case. I picked out one of these random Halloween style, I don't even know what to call it. Very abstract, very creepy, but also kind of cute. Laurel needed something magical for her fairy room, so she ended up getting one of these.
There you go. This guy I'm gonna wrap up. All right.
It's hard to resist buying some of the stuff at these vendor markets. So much creative art, collectibles, designs. It's amazing. As a horror fan, you gotta love it. It's just a little hard in the wallet. Madame Macabre makes these amazing VHS art pieces. There's just an awesome selection of classic horror movies, plus some of them get a little more advanced in their design based on the plot of the movie. Laurel and I both decided we wanted one, so we picked one inspired by one of my favorite 80s horror movies, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I mean, check it out in my display. I've got a whole shrine for this movie, seriously. That evening, there was also a vinyl record listening party with none other than Linnea Quigley. She signed my vinyl record, and we listened to the soundtracks to Return of the Living Dead and Horror Workout. I also got her to sign my Night of the Demons poster. Linnea was going to be at the vendor markets the following day, so I asked her if she was interested in an interview, and we agreed to film the next day. Random tangent, but I might have too many things signed by Linnea Quigley.
So I've actually got two different trash reaction action figures. Trash from Return of the Living Dead, of course. And this one actually glows in the dark. But this is the special one. And it's actually more rare, surprisingly. More rare than the glow-in-the-dark one. And this is the one I got signed by Linnea Quigley. So that's near and dear to my heart. And, she might like death, but I love her, and she's awesome. So, not as much as I love you, Boogie, but I still love her, just not as much as you. some of the merch. Yeah, dude. Beautiful. Look at that. Bat skulls.
So for a while, I got an actual bat.
That's wild. Oh, that's a real bat. That's a. Oh my god. Yeah, get the monster in there too. If I could grab a bag, that'd be great. Would you sign it though, as the artist? Of course, dude. It's your art. I can't. If I meet the artist who did the cover art, that's amazing. You don't get that every day. That's true. That's true. Work for you? Yeah, dude. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Sweet. Oh, yeah. Thank you. You need that liquid courage. Tell us a joke, funny man. I'm just kidding. Theater of Blood?
Vincent Price, have you seen it? Okay, so you know about
Hello. That's so good. They jump scared me, is there?
I didn't get scared. I heard that.
Yeah, go to the balcony.
I ended up trading a vinyl record of some of my music for a limited special edition VHS release of the 80s cult classic Fade to Black.
It's a whole process. That's a big box. Look at that. Yeah. Oh shit, you ruined that. Justin, aka Black Coffee, he's an incredible artist. He's got such a unique style, and not only do I have some of his t-shirts, and he actually does a lot of cover art and slipcover artwork for boutique labels like Vinegar Syndrome. I've got some other ones by him, like The Last Circus was in the video. This is the rarer one and a little bit cooler, and I'll show you why. But this is the cult classic Fade to Black, 80s horror movie, and it's kind of a movie for cinephiles, lovers of film, people who love film. So check this out. So not only did he do this awesome artwork on the front, back, all around, on the sides, really cool. You know, it's nice and rigid, hard, but when you open it up, it actually lights up. So it's a light up, limited edition VHS release of Fade to Black. And yeah, I mean, look at that, check that out. Metallic, even more art on the inside. So they went all out, and Justin's work is fantastic, and he's a great dude. Thank you, Justin. And give Black Coffee, like coffin with fiend, coffee, not coffee, coffee. I put the link in the description so you know where to find him. So anyway, Alex DiVincenzo. I'm saying it both ways because I don't actually know. Alex DiVincenzo. So Alex DiVincenzo, aka Broke Horror Fan, he designs custom limited edition officially licensed VHS releases, and this is Psycho Goreman, which is an awesome movie. I actually got somewhere, I got the where's P? Everything is alphabetized. Oh yeah, Psycho Goreman. So I've got the Blu-ray, but you know, there's a charm to watching it on VHS, and this is a pretty awesome design. You know, retro inspired. It's got, hold on, it's got the old school aesthetic, design, features. Yeah, so he's also a writer at Bloody Disgusting. Newer movies, but also some cult ones. He's got a bunch of stuff, so, you know, it kind of runs the gamut. Give him a follow, check him out if you like physical media. It's awesome. All right. Make sure the nice logo is for you. I did one interview with Tananarive, and it was this way the whole time, and I was like, oh,
good.
I had it like this, and it flipped when I leaned forward.
I take the best selfie I've ever taken in my life. I'm like, fuck no, I gotta do it again.
I gotta bring tape or something and like secure it.
That's
you know?
actually that's pretty
magnet
good.
Or something, weigh it down.
Yeah.
I'm here with Zero Gravity, the host of Salem Horror Fest, 3 years in a row now. Is that correct?
3 years in a row.
So how'd you first get involved in the Salem Horror Fest?
I first got involved, thank goodness. I'm a friend of Kay's, the former festival director.
Actually, Kay Lynch is back for 2026.
In 2023, she hit me up and said, hey girl, how would you like to come over and host the festival? I'm from New York, and I had never been to Salem before, which is crazy because I'm not that far, but it is a little intimidating because everyone wants to be in Salem on Halloween. I've checked the kayak.com a couple times, and it definitely seems out of my price range.
Oh.
So having an opportunity to come to Salem and meet the community outside of the touristy season was very enticing for me, and also got to watch a lot of fucked up movies, which is right up my alley. And so I came in 2023 as my first time as a Master of Ceremonies, and it's true what they say, that Salem is Halloween 24/7, so why would I even need to visit in October?
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, I think the city pretty much actively discourages people from coming during Halloween, or at least don't drive into the city. They discourage people from driving because the traffic is insane, there's no parking. Like you said, all the hotels are eaten up. But what's good about the Salem Horror Fest is not only are the films amazing and the authors who come and the vendors and all the artists, just everybody involved in the horror genre itself, and people like you who come and add vibrancy and character to the festival and humanity to it. It's halfway to Halloween, so it kind of bridges that gap of like, okay, it's nice out, we can walk around. I mean, today's not so bad. Yesterday
was
was beautiful.
2 hours ago,
yeah.
I promise, the sky was blue.
Yeah, it was nice most of the day. So pretty much the entire weekend has been great weather, and it's nice to have almost our little miniature Halloween.
Yeah.
Halfway to
Because who's
Halloween.
waiting? I'm not waiting.
No one's counting. I mean, yeah.
Don't make me
Exactly.
wait longer than I have to, please.
Yeah. I'm just gonna make sure it's still got you in focus. I'm always behind the camera. This is like, I'm coming out of my shell getting on camera for this channel. Like, Because I told myself, I think...
You're natural.
Well, I appreciate that. Sorry.
If audiences are able to connect to you, then they're able to get the message so much easier.
Yeah. So I'm glad you think I'm doing all right, because this is outside of my comfort
No, you're a natural, man.
Appreciate it. What do you think makes horror such an endearing and an enduring genre?
I love the question. I think horror, in terms of genre, is the greatest mirror that we could ever have in art and escapism. Actually, let me take back escapism, because I think horror is the escape. I could also extend that a little bit further to like fantasy and maybe a little bit of action as well. But with horror specifically, it's so incredible and great from a studio standpoint also, not just entertainment, because it's this mirror that tells you exactly what we as a society were, what our fears were at the time of that movie was being made. In that sense, we can go back to 1969, we can go back to 1979, we can go back to 2 years ago and get these little pockets of what were people scared of at that time, and that's, we can talk about the heavy stuff, we could talk about civil rights, like Night of the Living Dead.
Dwayne Jones.
We are able to, it's a little sense of healing, right? Because we're able to talk about these topics without ripping the Band-Aid off. The AIDS crisis, homophobia, satanic panic, you know what I mean? Toxic masculinity, aggressive militarism. We can talk about these things without having to be so on the nose that re-traumatizes us a little bit. But we also have the option to completely turn our brains off and be like, I want to watch a zombie movie, you know?
Yeah.
It could be about civil rights, but right now, what I need is to see a bunch of zombies and this guy whooping ass is what I need to see. So it's two sides of the same coin, and I don't think we can get that with dramas. I don't think we can get that with comedy, maybe a little bit, but it's not like horror. It's the full picture, and that's what made me fall in love with it.
I completely agree, and that's incredibly well said. And yeah, I mean, just like a mirror, I love the imagery of that, because it literally reflects our times, just like a mirror reflects. And I was telling somebody the other day, because the new season of Black Mirror came out, which obviously is like horror connected. It's a horror series.
So close to home.
Yeah. But like the term Black Mirror, like what Charlie Brooker was referring to, is kind of multi-layered, because it's the Black Mirror, the scrying mirror that like the mystics used to use to like see the spirit world. Or I might be butchering that explanation, but you know the gist.
Fact check him later.
Yeah, fact check in the comments section, I guess. But it's not only that, it's like when you take out your phone and the screen's off, that's a black mirror. And it not only does it reflect yourself, but is technology, how is that a reflection of us or of our times? It's so deep and layered like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, horror I think is like a black mirror. It's like this mystical view to this other world in some ways, where it's like, you touched on it, it's like there's escapism there. Maybe you just need to see some zombie ass kicking.
Yeah.
You know, you need to see a slasher with some great gore or whatever, and you just, maybe it's a stress relief. Or maybe it's a way to confront our fears or our trauma, but through a lens that is a little bit more palpable because of that mixture of things that you described. I mean, I love that. I love thinking about horror that way, and I think that's why I'm here and why you're here, because something about horror. We're not at drama convention.
No.
Where are the drama cons? There probably are some, but like, I tell you what, they don't have as many diehard fans showing up year after year.
So. Yeah.
And they're not worshiping the filmmakers and the actors and the creators and artists. I mean, it's a different game.
And the things that our grandmas tell us that we're going to hell for.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's a beautiful silver lining.
So, obviously, it's the Salem Horror Fest. There are plenty of horror festivals, but there's only one in Salem. What do you think makes Salem an amazing place for a horror festival?
Grassroots. This is one of the most grassroots of all the grassroots film festivals, especially genre film festivals that I've been to. It's a lot of locals. What I think is so special about Salem is that we're just naturally out here.
Yeah.
You know, as horror fans and fans of genre media, like as kids, it can be a little bit difficult to find someone who reads the same comic book as you.
Yeah.
Which is why, luckily for people around our generation, have the internet, because it's easier to find people who you share fandoms with or you share interests with. It's, you kind of get this beeline and you don't have to search around for years about which table is going to know what I mean when I say da-da-da-da-da. And so what's so cool about Salem is because of the history here that obviously everyone knows, it naturally attracts these type of peoples who are already excited to investigate the other, the things that are taboo, the things that are weird. The locals here, because the history is so weird and so disturbing and a little bit dark. Maybe the people that grew up here have a little bit more of a connection to that side and are open to checking out media the way that we check out media. And that's great. I live in New York, but it's not like there's one place that I can go to find this type of people. If I'm 13 years old, usually with genre film festivals, it's a lot of transplants. It's a lot of people coming from other places in order to find their tribe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Salem stays this way. It's always
Year-round.
this way. So it's cool because as a foreigner coming into the festival, I'm meeting the community, the literal community of horror fans in the Northeast, but also just the Salem in general community. I mean, I've been having a blast the past 3 years with Kelly Kapow, who does a monthly trivia here.
It's trivia time, bitch.
It's trivia time, bitch.
Yes,
She knows
shout
everyone. She knows the lore. She's lived here for practically her whole life. I learned so much, not just about the genre that I love, but just the history of this place, which as a clown who likes to live in fiction, like, sure, yeah, maybe I should learn some fucking U.S. history.
There's a
but
lot of U.S. history
here.
here,
I can kill two birds with one stone, and the people are so kind.
You've been the host 3 years in a row now. I'm sure you'll be back in the future and moving forward. And like, it seems like now you're a local, more than just
I hope so.
I wouldn't call you a foreigner anymore. I think you have a home here in Salem with horror fans and the Horror Fest. And
I appreciate that.
The people of Salem who come out to events like this support our kind of weird yet bigger than I think a lot of people understand. Like, there's a lot of horror fans out there.
Way bigger.
Since the beginning of film, horror has been a part of cinema. Like, some of the very first silent films were horror films. Like Georges Méliès had La Mansion du Diable, which is like the House of the Devil, I think is what it's called. It was a horror film. It was the 1800s. And horror has always been a form of counterculture. And I think a lot of people would agree that, like what we talked about dealing with trauma, horror itself is a progressive thing. And I think that no other film festival that I can think of has more of a progressive angle and an emphasis on that. And being, an emphasis on equality and like giving voices to be heard that aren't often heard. What can you speak about that with the Salem Horror Fest? You think that distinguishes the fest? That's not just a horror festival. It's like as progressive as it is about horror.
Progressive, yes, but aggressive, I'm a very aggressive person.
Well, we need to
and in the positive sense, aggressive positivity, aggressive activism, that's how you get shit done. And in general, the community is very progressive. We definitely do have some gray areas. If anyone tells you that horror is not political, it is political. Horror has always been political, and it can never not be political. But I say that to say there are some gray areas, but in general, it's a very progressive genre to be in. And because the history of Salem is extremely oppressive. Lots of people died here. Lots of innocent women died here just for having a brain, So it's built on that foundation, and one that's very aggressively for the survival of people, and I think that's literally in the soil here. And because of that history, this place has attracted a lot of marginalized people, and specifically I mean of the queer variety. This is, and I get it, like there is some sort of connection there. I don't want to say trauma bond because that sounds pretty negative, but it's one community that understands the struggle of another community. It's it's very easy for queer people to look at women who are marginalized as well in a different way, but still marginalized, and be like, okay, that's a struggle. I know a struggle when I see one. So there's this very large community of queer people here. And because they recognize the struggle that the history of Salem has, it's kind of transformed into, we're here to fight for what's right. Also, horror is made for that shit. Horror is really made for that shit. So it is way more aggressive in other genre film festivals. It's no longer on the back burner. If you watch enough horror movies and you have enough brain cells in there, you can understand that Night of the Living Dead is about civil rights. But this is on the poster here, and they weaponize it in the best ways. I literally just introduced a repertory screening of Give Me an A, which is our abortion rights fundraiser, and why not? I just went in there was asses in seats. So if people connect with it, and we can use that aggression and community to have fun and also support an amazing cause, why not? And we really need it right now. we can kill two birds with one stone, have fun and be progressive and do something good for the community at the same time, whether that be donating some money or just putting asses in seats and showing people that you give a
Yeah.
you know? And that's for marginalized communities, but that's also for independent cinema.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's almost like a form of poetic justice that people come and they think Salem's like a Disney World of Halloween, right? They think it's like kind of an amusement park. Like some disrespectful tourists will come, they'll treat it like it's an amusement park. And it's not. It's a place with a lot of history, but a place where atrocities happen. Like the witch trials happened. These were innocent people who were killed. There's some places in town that'll sell like shirts like that kind of make a joke about it. And like there is a gray area of what's appropriate and what should be like respectful. And I think if anything could be considered respectful, it's a horror fest where you're welcome. Like anybody out there, know that the Salem Horror Fest welcomes you, because there's not going to be any discrimination or shutting down of voices. Like this, I've never seen a horror festival that was more open to as many different communities and voices and experiences. So I think that gives it an edge. But the fact that it's on the grounds where atrocities happen against innocent people because of religious extremism and a society and a governance gone awry and mad with power and just maniacal and tyrannical, we're seeing that. You know, we've seen it before in recent history. People we can talk to in real life who are still alive, lived through the Holocaust, lived through horrible atrocities, and you know, I think this gives a voice to those people.
It's
hundreds
boots
of years
on the
later.
ground, and that's what we call metal.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, exactly. What's the most memorable interaction you've had this weekend?
A story that I've told maybe 3 or 4 times this weekend specifically is a story that I heard from the staff at Seagrass, the local dispensary here.
Shout out Seagrass.
At the time of recording, Tony Todd has just passed away. And for the members of the horror communities, specifically the marginalized horror communities, which really idolized him and his performances and his aura in horror, it's been really difficult. Final Destination is about to drop, which is his last performance that we're ever going to get in horror. So it's a little bit of a tough pill to swallow. My first year here at Salem Horror Fest, we had Tony Todd and Goretta as our 2 guests the first weekend. And on the second weekend after they were gone, I went into the dispensary and just struck up a conversation with the people who worked in there. They were very kind. Everyone here is very kind. And they said, "Are you here for the Horror Fest?" And I said, "Yeah." And they told me that Tony Todd walked in. And they, not necessarily horror people, but they're still familiar enough with the genre. If you don't know, Tony Todd is like 7 feet tall. He is really, really tall, and he has this aura that's like really dark and mysterious, and like there's a reason why he keeps coming back to horror. So imagine you don't know, you're just a local here, you work in the area, you have no idea that there's a horror fest going on, and fucking Candyman.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Candyman walks through the door, and these 2 employees at the dispensary are like, oh my God, Candyman is like, are we going to die? I just thought that was hilarious.
Somebody said his name.
Somebody,
too many times in the mirror.
Whoever it was is getting fired. They're never going to have another paycheck in their life. I just thought it was very sweet and funny, and also it sucks right now. He's gone, but funny things like that keep him alive.
I saw an article yesterday. Tony Todd, I guess there's a lost film from the 90s that was never released.
Yeah.
And they're going to re-release it.
Yeah.
So I know we have like his final performance with Final Destination, but
we do have some
I'm definitely
other
going to check out.
backlogs too. There's another one that's coming that was filmed before Final Destination, but it's like a B-C horror, so it was kept in limbo for a while. So we'll see him on screen again, but it's not going to be. And I will tell you, you should go see Final Destination in the theater, because everyone on the production crew knew it was going to be his last performance. So it was a very beautiful send-off. So see that in the theater if you can, because I just moderated the Q&A for the New York premiere last week, and everyone in the theater was misty-eyed. It was like really beautiful.
Is it a good film? Like
I had a blast.
Fuck
I mean,
as
far as Final Destination goes, it's better than the 4th and 5th, hands
good.
down.
I'll take it.
It's probably better than the 3rd too.
I'll take it.
Yeah, it was really fun. Go see it.
I know you got a train to catch, so I think I could talk to you all day. You know, I have so many questions.
I wish I could talk.
Next year, I'm sure you'll be back, or in the future,
I'll be back
we'll
next year.
connect, and hopefully I'll make a good video, and they'll want me to come back, and we can set up some interviews.
Like and subscribe!
Yeah, Tales of Salem. But, so Zero Gravity, thank you so much for the interview. Thank you for coming out to the Salem Horror Fest.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we love having you in Salem.
Thank
You're
you
a
so
local
much.
now. You're welcome. You're one of us. So.
I'll be back next year.
One last metal.
It's metal.
Yeah, it's metal.
All right. I love their mojitos, and pinball machines are classic. We were just talking about how they date way back, so it's like being in a different time. But I will say that I don't like to play pinball that much. I mean, I like it okay, but I don't like these games as much as everyone else does. It makes me feel like a little bit bad, but it's still fun.
You love them.
I mean,
You
I
enjoy
appreciate
them.
the aesthetic, but I don't actually like it as much as everybody else.
So, on Saturday night, we went to Bit Bar, where we attended the Horror Trivia Night. Eventually, we made our way over to some of the arcade cabinets, and I decided I would go up against an old childhood nemesis, Area 51. But fate had other things in store for me.
Oh, damn.
The machine ate my coin, causing a blockage, making it so that I couldn't finish the game.
Let's up. Alright.
Is it on wide mode though? Is it on like?
I don't know.
Let me see it. So if we do. Oh.
Leave that in too.
I might have stopped.
No, I'm telling you.
Is it flipped upside
It
down?
wasn't recording. Alright, say it again.
Area 51. Do you see the machine?
Yeah.
It ate my coin. I don't get to play it. I
Ah.
don't want to wait in line to get my credit card to get the coins. I'm all in cash. We're done. Somebody gets a free coin.
Wow.
I'll get it another day. I'll return Area 51. Someday.
After Bit Bar, we made our way to Koto for the 80s prom night dance party. On the final day of the Horror Fest, I made my way back to Notch Brewery, where I found Linnea Quigley enjoying a game of darts with some fans. Now I would finally get my opportunity to interview one of my childhood heroes, a true scream queen and horror icon.
Yeah, I can't see where it is.
It's hard.
Thank you.
I'm here with legendary scream queen Linnea Quigley
Do you ever fantasize about being killed?
at this year's Salem Horror Fest. Linnea, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, and I'm Linnea. He's not.
That's true. Wait, I said I was with you, right? Or did I say I'm Linnea Quigley? Oh my god.
No, you didn't. You didn't say that.
Oh my god, I thought I...
No, that was cute.
That was cute.
It makes
I
it
love
fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Hi, I'm Linnea.
First thing I want to ask you, because I'm sure you get so many questions about your legendary career, but since we're in Salem at the Salem Horror Fest, when was the first time you came to Salem?
The first time I came to Salem was on my honeymoon, which I can't remember what year it was, but it was like in the 80s. And came to Salem for that. Did a Fangoria convention in New York, and then came down here.
Wow.
And I loved it.
What was your impression coming to Salem for the first time?
I thought it was just like so cool, like all the old things and everything. And we stayed at this inn, and there was like an insane asylum around there, and people were telling me, you know, don't go out at night because sometimes they don't let them in. And It was really fun.
Well, that kind of leads to my next question. You know, Salem is known for being kind of a magical place. You know, there's the history of the witches, and you know, obviously that was actually more of an atrocity than a supernatural event. But there are haunted places in Salem. There's a lot of history and a lot of spirits that could be floating around. Have you ever had any supernatural experiences in Salem?
No, I haven't. I think they stay away from me. You know, it's like they don't f with me. It's like they just are like nice to me.
You're a scream queen, so they got to respect that.
That's right. They're scared of me.
They're scared of you, yeah. They don't mess with horror legends, you know.
They saw Sorority Babes in the Slime Ball Bolorama, and they just like said, no, we're not going to deal with this.
No, no. What is it about Salem that makes this a great place for a horror festival?
Because of the witches, and because of everybody is into magic, you know, or wants magic. They want to come here and get magic and see ghosts, and it's got history like no other place.
Yeah. Here we have hundreds and hundreds of years. The oldest in American culture is here. This is the start of our country. So if there are spirits anywhere, I feel like Salem would be.
Oh yes. Oh yes. In fact, I got after being here a pentagram, because I believe in witches and things like that, and psychics and stuff like that.
There's a lot of them here. We're friends with Therese. Shout out Therese DeVoe, daughter of Salem, one of the Cabot witches.
Is she one of the Cabot? Yes. I went by when she was on a radio station when I was here. One time I was doing MTV in Boston, and I took a train here just by myself and saw her in the window. I'm like, oh my God, that's Lori Cabot.
Wow. She'd probably say the same thing about you.
Oh, maybe.
Being a legend in film? Come on. But yeah, our friend Therese, she walks around town with red hair. She's the best psychic in town, and she's born in Salem. And she's probably one of the few people who does readings. She might be the only one who's actually from Salem, born in Salem.
Oh, wow. What's her name?
Therese DeVoe.
Oh.
And she's awesome.
Oh my God,
and
I want to see.
Just like you, because I know you were in the Skirts.
Yes.
S&M Boulevard Boy? Boulevard.
Santa Monica Boulevard Boy.
That song is awesome.
He's a Santa Monica Boulevard boy, hanging out with the boys is his joy. It's a Santa Monica Boulevard boy, acting much more than boy.
It's fun. I wrote that just playfully, you know, but kind of serious, I never had that experience, but I always wondered if some of the guys were.
I've been to Santa Monica. I spent some time at the beach. I remember the Boulevard, and that song resonated with me 30 years later.
Oh,
wow.
Because
I'm assuming it was in the 80s.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, but great work on that. But Therese as well, she was in a local band that kind of had supernatural origins. Well, not supernatural origins, but they were very much into the supernatural and the paranormal. Therese DeVoe and her ex-husband owned a magic shop in town. And it's kind of interesting that there's parallels there with
yeah, that is weird. They're drawn to music.
Yeah, and I know you and your ex-husband came here for your honeymoon.
Honeymoon, yep.
And you worked on films together.
Yes,
so there's
Steve
all that.
Johnson, yeah.
So you've made a number of appearances at the Salem Horror Fest over the years. What keeps you coming back to Salem?
I love it. I love Salem. I mean, I would move here if I could.
I've heard people are trying to get you to move here.
I know, I know.
You definitely should.
Well, I had...
you'd be welcome.
Yeah, I've been checking out stuff, and my friend Devin, who's in bands, he's a drummer, has it's a realtor too. So he's looking out.
That's good to know. That
real estate is very expensive here. And I have to have it away from people with all those animals.
Apparently it's on the top 10 hottest housing markets in America right now.
Oh, is it?
According to Realtor or Apartments.com, one of the websites, it's number 3.
Wow.
10.
Wow.
And that's major cities included, so it's wild. Have you had any memorable experiences or interactions with fans who have come to meet you this year?
This year?
Yeah.
Let's see.
My next question is, what's the weirdest interaction you've ever had?
Oh my God. There was one guy last year, that I was doing, I think it was a chiller convention in New York. And at that time I smoked cigarettes. And he brought from 25 years ago a cigarette butt in a plexiglass thing with my lipstick on it. He had like seen me smoking out there and years ago grabbed it, the butt, and put it in his freezer, and I signed that. That was weird.
Whoa. I mean, I respect the dedication. That's incredible. But
Yeah.
I don't know whether to be scared of that or to be impressed by that.
Exactly.
That's how you know you made it as a scream queen, right?
Yes.
Somebody's picking up your burnt cigarette. So you've been in a trauma film. You were in Graduation Day,
Yes.
1981. And Lloyd Kaufman said that being a scream queen is, quote, more than just crying and having ketchup thrown on you. You not only have to be attractive, but you have to also have a big brain. You have to be frightened. You have to be sad. You have to be romantic. You've been called a scream queen for decades. How do you feel about that label?
I love the label because I grew up with horror films and watching them, the creature feature with my girlfriends and having pizza and everything. So I love the title. It's an honor for me. I'm glad I'm not a soap opera star.
Oh my God, thank God. Well, I wouldn't be here interviewing you. I wouldn't be gushing over you because I grew up loving horror films, and Night of the Demons is my favorite horror film.
Oh,
Probably
that's
it's
great.
tied for maybe like 3 other films, but it's my number one favorite rewatched movie. So
Yeah.
You had told me about the cigarette.
Yes.
Was that was a Salem Horror Fest?
No, that was at a chill. No, it wasn't Salem. It was
Oh,
at the Residency Records.
Oh no way!
Yes.
Somebody at Residency Records showed up with
Yes.
a cigarette.
He showed
Oh my
up there.
Bro,
And I
loved
was
it.
like, I didn't know if to believe him or not, but it was my shade of lipstick, so on the cigarette.
Oh my
so.
God. A DNA test maybe can prove
Yeah.
it. Bro would love to hear that though.
Yeah.
That's actually her record release party when her album comes out will be at Residency, and mine was there. So
Oh,
we
wow.
love Residency Records, and we had some great experiences there. But I can't say I've had a weird experience like that.
No, not yet.
Yeah, I don't have
You
crazy
might.
fans like you do.
Oh, okay.
Who are picking up my used
Not
cigarette.
yet, I said.
But-
Yes.
And now that you quit smoking, I guess it's kind of it's a rare item now. That's like
It's very rare.
you can't get that anymore.
I don't
so.
think many people picked up my butts.
So that would answer the question of like, what's the weirdest thing that happened at the Salem Horror Fest? What's
Yeah.
like the most memorable, or what would be the most memorable interaction you've ever had with a fan of yours?
Probably just when I signed their breasts or their butts. You know,
Oh,
like
yeah?
the women like their breasts signed, and I just signed someone's butt.
No way.
Yeah.
So I'm imagining they get a tattoo, or they just never
Yeah,
wash.
yeah,
You
they
can't-
get it tattooed.
Oh my
That's
God.
weird when you do that.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
I mean, I would say it's weird, but being a horror fan who can totally relate, like I guess it's not that weird. 'Cause
That's
there's probably a lot
true.
of people who would want your name
That's
tattooed
true.
on their butt.
That's neat.
And that's an honor. So, what advice would you give to a fan who's coming to meet you for the first time and might be a little nervous?
Oh, calm down. I don't bite. And I'm probably as shy as they are. I'm probably as shy because I am actually a shy person. So it's like, you know, I'm not mean or anything.
You're not me. You're an absolute sweetheart. I don't think you don't seem shy, but I know you never seem that shy, but you are shy, right? Like, and I like to be outgoing, but I'm shy too. So it doesn't come across as
Yeah.
shy. You just come across as sweet and endearing. But that's interesting to hear.
I know I can't go up. I never got to go up to George Romero or anything because I was too scared.
Oh my God, yeah, that's one filmmaker I wish I could have met.
I know. I'm like, ah.
I mean, with Return of the Living Dead, how was he? He might not have. Was he happy with Return of the Living Dead? I can't
I
even
don't
remember.
know if he was or not.
Because
He
O'Bannon
probably was.
O'Bannon was obviously, you know, a legend. I mean, hopefully it had the respect from him being involved. But.
Exactly.
So you heard it here. If you're nervous about meeting your favorite scream queen, don't be nervous because you heard it from her. She's shy too, so just embrace that. Get the courage and talk to her. Yeah, just do it.
Do it.
Who are some of your favorite people that you've met over the years at these festivals? Like, do you like working with the team at the Salem Horror Fest? Is there anybody in particular who is really like you've made a bond with, where it's not just like you're coming to a festival, you're coming to see friends? Is there anybody in Salem you love to see?
Oh my God, yes. A lot of people. Lindsay, Kay, of course. Amanda's really nice. Brody's really nice. I could go on and on. They're all great people.
Shout out to Kay. Kay, obviously the founder.
Kay
Lynch.
is amazing.
Shout out to Kay Lynch for.
And she's beautiful.
Yes, she's fabulous, and obviously Salem Horror Fest continues to grow each year. And
Yes.
That's due to
Which
the
is
dedication
really
of
good.
people like her. So this year has been great. So
Yeah.
it's great to see how it grows and expands, and have you come back and be even bigger, and yeah, love it. What's the most interesting way you've ever been killed on screen?
Oh, probably a possessed shower head impaling me in the throat. That was pretty interesting. It's like, how does a shower head get possessed? And like, you know.
That's a pretty interesting one. Yeah, I don't know how many people can say that they've been killed by a shower head on screen.
That's true. And then impaled on antlers. Like those antlers up there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, I mean, that's rare. I think I've seen it a couple times. Never seen a shower head, so
I know.
You might be the world record holder of being killed by a
shower head was weird. It's a good way to get a scream queen in a shower, and then, you know, kill her.
So you're a scream queen who doesn't just do the screaming. You make people do the screaming. You've killed people on screen.
Yes,
What's your
I
favorite
have.
kill?
Let me think. What was my favorite kill? Burning a girl.
Oh yeah.
Burning her up, yeah.
It's too bad we had to kill her.
Why?
I really liked the outfit she had on.
That was fun.
That was in
Sorority Babes.
Sorority Babes.
Yes.
Yes. That's a good one. That's a good one.
That was fun.
I like Night of the Demons, my favorite film, but when you
of course, poking out someone Yeah, that was a good one.
Because
that
was so brutal.
It was
So
brutal.
Like, remember Game of Thrones was like a huge show, and there's that similar scene where the
Yes.
mountain like blows the guy's head up. And every time I see that type of scene, I always think about that kill that you did
I
in
bet
that
they
movie.
stole it from them.
They probably did. You know,
They
you
probably
owed
did,
some royalties.
Yeah.
What do you think is the most underrated, like, performance or character, like, role that you've played? Like, what's a film that you think people should see that not a lot of people come up to you and say, oh, this is my favorite? Like, what are you so proud of that you think's underrated?
I liked Treasure of the Moon Goddess, which is on Tubi now. It's not like a great performance, but it's just different.
What are those chewy things floating? Raisins?
The dead flies.
Yeah, and you were saying that you love the outfits and the costume
I
design.
love
and
the
that.
costumes. Oh my God.
So if you want a good 80s adventure, kind of action adventure.
Yeah, kind of like
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones,
Yeah, like
yes.
an adventure, classic kind of adventure.
And
with-
Don Calf is in it from Return of the Living Dead. So that makes it really good too.
Shout out to Tubi as well. Go check out that film and
Yeah.
enjoy it. And, you know, be in the comments. Let us know what you think.
I
You
know.
reach out to Linnea.
That would be
let her know that
cool.
you checked out that role that doesn't get quite the recognition it deserves. But
It doesn't.
yeah, the costumes in that look fantastic. I was showing her last night.
Yeah.
She was like, oh yes. So, what are your favorite spots in Salem? Because obviously you've been here for many years. Like, do you have any places that you love to go to?
I think the Witch Memorial is like kind of interesting. That's like outside of town. It's like in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
Not the memorial on Essex.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But that one is like, it's by Gallows Hill and,
Right.
and that, I think that.
Yeah, that's.
And then I just experienced Count
Orlok's
Orlok's.
Nightmare Gallery. Yes.
Well, no, I didn't I experienced it every year, but I love that place. And James, who is the owner of it, and we got to see some special things in the basement.
Oh yes, yes. He has the secret tour that
Yes.
brings the VIPs on down there.
And the Torture Museum.
That's great too.
And the amazing like restaurants here too.
Yeah. What's your favorite restaurant?
Flying Saucer, I think.
Oh, Flying
I like
Saucer.
that one.
We're vegan mostly. I'm vegan, Laurel.
And they make
vegetarian,
a
vegan.
bunch of
They
vegan
do.
foods.
And funky ones, mac and cheese pizza, buffalo.
Oh, I haven't
chicken.
had that one.
There's a pickle one with like mozzarella, and you can.
I
get
did
vegan.
read that one. I was like, pickles.
It sounds horrible.
But it's good?
It's good. They're all good. They're all
Oh,
good.
yeah.
But I love how it's a nerd type of pizza place. Like, it's geek culture. It's got the sci-fi theme. All the pizzas are named after different science fiction references.
Right,
So
right.
You know, you'd fit right in there. Are there any other good times that you've had in Salem? Like any events in the past that really stood out?
Oh, dancing. Every time there's been a dance party like last night, the prom night, was so fun. You know, they played great music. It's 80s music, and it was really fun.
Yeah, well, it was fun for people to be there and share that with you, because you know, we like a lot of us fans, of us horror fans. The 80s is such a pivotal era for horror films, and you know, you've been in films for since then, obviously. So we've like kind of like grown up with you, and it's like so cool to relive a little bit of that, what we saw, and like a little bit, you know, for me, I was a kid when I was watching, like in the 90s, I was watching 80s horror and 90s horror, so like I grew up watching horror films that you were in.
That's
so it's
great.
really awesome to be able to come to an event like the Salem Horror Fest.
Exactly.
And not just meet you at a table, which like that's great and everything, and people can go to conventions, but there's interesting events that happen here.
Right.
Way more engaging.
And Koto's fun.
Koto's great. Shout out to
Koto's
Annie.
fun. Yeah.
We love Annie.
Yeah.
Annie's Asian Mart as well. Have you been next door?
Which one?
So right next to Koto, the owner Annie also owns Annie's Asian Mart. So they have
Oh, I didn't
imported
know
like
that.
Asian foods, like
I
snacks and
haven't
stuff.
been there.
If you want like funky candy or like ice cream bao, she's obsessed with seaweed. She overdoses on seaweed.
What's it called?
Annie's Asian Mart.
But what is she obsessed on?
Oh, she loves seaweed, like these little seaweed snacks.
Oh yeah,
like little
those
dried
are good.
seaweed.
Those are good.
Super healthy. They're
Yeah,
delicious.
they are.
And so I think she's helping keep that business alive. 'Cause
Oh,
I think
right.
She's probably your best customer.
I love that.
But shout out to Annie, and yeah, you've done plenty of events at Koto, right? Because it's not the
Yes.
first time that there's been a dance party.
Yes.
Yeah. What's your favorite song to dance to?
I like Joan Jett, and I like the song Gloria. That's from 80s.
Yeah.
And then AC/DC. It's hard to pick.
So many good ones.
Yeah.
So many good ones. Are we still recording? Still good? It says REC? Good, okay. I don't know why I get so nervous that the thing's gonna like stop.
I
I'm
know,
always behind the
that's
camera, so
scary
I'm like,
when
I'm
that
out of my element in front of the camera. You had a show called Paranormal Investigation?
I
Is that what
did,
Paranormal-
yes, on YouTube.
Yeah, so you did an episode about Hotel Cecil.
Yeah.
Have you ever been there?
I've never been there, but I would like to. That was like a creepy story.
I have a Hotel Cecil story.
What is it?
Yeah, very quickly, I flew down to do a show, because I'm a musician, flew down, met the owner of my record label. We had a great night in LA, and I needed a cheap place to stay, so me and my friend who had flown out and like filmed me, we were like, oh, let's go to this place called Stay on Main. It looks cool, like the photos look cool. So we go in there, and it looked beautiful old Hollywood decor in the foyer, but something was like off.
Yeah.
And so we go up the elevator, and all the like signage has been like plastered over with this like cheap looking Stay on Main. Like it looked modern, but the hotel looked old school. So we're like, huh, this is weird. So we had this weird night where we went out, we drank at the bar next door, and I was outside right before we went to the hotel, and I looked to my friend, I go, something bad happened here. Like it's just weird vibes. So I go in, we spend the night, we fly back the next day. Literally, like I woke up that morning in this hotel. I get home from California to Massachusetts the next day. I'm unpacking my bags, and YouTube is there, right? So suggested video. It was like top 10 scariest or most haunted places or weirdest. It was something like that, like a top 10 scariest hotel moments or something. And I clicked on it while I was unpacking, just something to like listen to while I did.
Right.
It gets to like number 5 or 6, and it says Hotel Cecil in downtown LA. I look up, and there it is, the place I woke up at that morning. It had been rebranded from Hotel Cecil to Stay on Main.
I didn't know
But
that.
I am looking at the place I woke up at, and then it shows the Elisa Lam video, that girl who
Yes.
was in the elevator, and I had seen that video years before. And I never felt as chilled to the bone as I did in that moment.
That's
like it felt like it felt like a supernatural moment.
Wow.
Like really, really bizarre. So
So
like
you're good at picking that up.
I don't know. It was the only time in my life where I ever had an inclination that something was wrong, and I said it, and I had somebody there to remember me saying it, so I couldn't just be like, I'm just imagining.
Wow,
So,
that
anyway,
is really cool.
I thought that was just a fun little connection.
That
to share
is.
the Hotel Cecil story since you covered that. But would you love to do more like investigative type journalism?
Oh yeah,
or
because it's
content?
interesting.
Yeah.
Because you've got, and especially in Salem because of the history and everything.
Well, if you move to Salem, there's no
I know.
shortage of fascinating stories.
And nice people.
Yes.
Really nice people.
And people who really love and appreciate.
Yes.
The horror genre.
Yeah.
And the legends who make the genre as endearing and enduring as it is.
It is.
So thank you for that.
So Salem is the best.
Salem is the best, right? When you got into acting, I don't think the term screen queen was really a term yet. That
No,
was
it
defined by
wasn't.
actresses like you.
Right.
How do you think the roles of women have changed in film over the years since you started acting? Like, what are you seeing as a
wow.
trend? Is there anything changing?
That it's cool to be a scream queen and that horror is good. You know, so many people like now watch horror because it's cool, and back then it was looked down upon, and they would just call it a B movie, and they didn't really respect it at all.
What's the first horror film you remember seeing?
Oh, the first horror film I remember seeing, like I watched Murder in the Rue Morgue. I loved that. That scared me when the lady's hand fell down out of the chimney. Oh, I loved that one.
That's a classic.
Yeah.
Would you like to star in an adaptation of
Oh,
Murder in the Rue
yeah.
Morgue? That would be.
Oh, yeah, I'd love that.
That's ripe for a remake.
That would
right
be
there.
great.
Let's make it happen, people.
Okay.
Well, Linnea, thank you so much for coming to Salem. You know, we love having you. The Salem Horror Fest is an amazing experience, and it's made all the more amazing by having a legendary scream queen like you.
Oh,
be a part of
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, and we look forward to having you back.
I'll be back.
Is that a Terminator?
That's a
can we see you
Terminator
in
quote,
a Terminator
yeah.
movie in the future? I love it. Well, thank you, Linnea, and I hope you have a great experience at the remainder of Salem Horror Fest.
I will, and I love seeing you guys here.
Oh, thank you.
I love that.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Linnea. You're such a
you.
sweetheart. Well, that is the episode. That's the end. You've made it. Congrats. What is it, an hour and a half? It's been a long episode, so thank you for making this far. Thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw today, you know the deal. You've heard it 1,000 times on different YouTube videos. Please like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. It really does help. It's a new channel trying to grow. You know the deal. If you haven't come to the Salem Horror Fest yet, you should definitely come. Don't wait a year like it took me to post this episode. Come this weekend, Salem Horror Fest. You can find them online, social media. It'll all be in the description below. Get your tickets now. And if you come, I'll be there. Say hi if you see me. Love to chat. It's a beautiful time of year to celebrate horror halfway to Halloween. So thanks for tuning in. And until next time, peace.